Greetings, my name is Blaze. I'm going to give you a little bit of clarification on Wicca and Wiccans versus witchcraft and witches. A lot of people believe that they coexist. Hey, if you're Wiccan, you're automatically a witch. If you're witch, you're automatically Wiccan. This is not the case. First of all, Wicca is not an ancient polytheistic faith. It is a modern faith which was developed by Gerald Gardner back in the 1950s. However, Gerald Gardner himself was in fact, from what I understand, a witch, and Gardnerian witchcraft is what influenced Wicca, which is why you'll find a lot of similarities between Wicca and witchcraft. Wicca itself is a nature-based religion. It has doctrines such as the Wiccan Rede. It follows a god and a goddess usually. However, after the original rise of it in 1950, when it was not very popular, a lot of people adjusted to their own family traditions, and then you come up with many things such as Dianic Wicca, or you'll come up with Fairy Wicca, etc. So even that has been adjusted, so there's not really one pure, unsaturated sort of Wicca, because it was kind of more of a modern concept. However, it did, like I said, took a lot of the teachings and doctrines from the past. It is a religion. It is a faith. The practitioners of Wicca refer to themselves as Wiccan. Traditionally speaking, a lot of them do practice different forms of magic, but that is not necessarily something that is required to become a Wiccan. Now, the term witch and witchcraft, however, obviously, witch refers to a practitioner of witchcraft. Not necessarily male or female, it is actually a unisexual term. Witchcraft is a magical practice. It does not have a doctrine of beliefs or morals. It is specifically a practice of magic, similar to martial arts. Martial arts does not have a specific religious belief to it. However, just like witchcraft, it has morals and different ways of practicing it that basically the teacher would pass down. Some martial artists believe it is bad to harm people. They use it for self-defense only. Others use it as a warrior thing or to test their skills. Same thing with witchcraft. Depending on each group, which is referred to as a coven, each group would have its own set of beliefs and moralities that would be taught by, whoever the high priest or priestess of that particular coven would be. There's a lot of people that will argue this, but of course, this is the way it is. There are Wiccans, there are witches. You can be both. There's nothing wrong with being both, but that does not mean you are both. Simply by saying you're Wiccan does not simply mean you can call yourself a witch. Each group and family back in the olden days, as far as martial arts was concerned, actually had different ways of delivering the techniques. Each master you went to in ancient China would have different techniques and different styles. This is the exact same thing it is with witchcraft. Each family, usually it was passed down as a family tradition, and families within the coven, there was a specific way that they practiced their magic and their spirituality. And usually, 9 times out of 10, you would always have spiritual practice that came with witchcraft, but they were not the exact same thing. Specifically, witchcraft itself is a craft of magic. There is not one specific way that it has to be done. It just depends on the family or the person that you learned it from. So, hopefully that'll clear up a little bit of the confusion of why everyone in the world wants to try to say Wicca and witchcraft are the same. Usually it's because of lack of research, lack of study, and wanting to basically follow the mainstream. So, hope you are a little more clear-headed.